is Anjali Palmer and I'm a dietitian working at Leicestershire Nutrition and Dietetics Service. We produce this video for our LPT staff to help them support our patients in making good, informed nutritional choices which would help their health. In this video, we will look at what a healthy diet is and what to do if we have patients at nutritional risk.
We all have a role to play in ensuring the nutrition and hydration needs of our patients are met. This includes dietitian, nurses, speech and language therapist, occupational therapist, physiotherapist, advanced nurse practitioners, catering staff, doctors, healthcare support worker, and the list goes on. Good nutrition is essential for health and growth. I'm hoping you're aware of the National Eat Well Guide, as it's a useful guide to help us achieve good nutrition from different food groups to sustain optimal health. So let's focus on our patients. So whether we have underweight, overweight, obese, or healthy weight patients, we should still use the Eat Well Guide to form the basis of nutrition in all of these patient groups. Let's see how Eat Well Guide helps us achieve good nutrition in our patients. We will start with the fruit and vegetable section. We've all heard of 5 a day. It can be a mixture of fruit and vegetables, but it doesn't have to be. It can be fresh, frozen, tinned, or dried. It all counts. But the important thing is it contains essential vitamins and minerals, which are very important for wound healing. And it also contains fiber and it's low in energy. This is the starchy carbohydrate section, and it contains foods like potatoes, pasta, bread, and other starchy foods. It provides us with essential B vitamins and low energy that our body needs. Now, this food group should be eaten at each meal time, but it can also be offered as snacks. This is the protein food group section, and it includes foods like beans, meat, fish, chickpeas, and other alternatives. It provides us with nutrients like iron, zinc, and vitamin D, and it's needed for growth and repair. And we should be aiming to eat at least 2 portions of this food group on a daily basis. Dairy and alternative foods provide calcium needed for bones and teeth, and to ensure calcium requirements are met, 3 servings of these foods should be consumed daily. There used to be a small section of high-fat, high-sugar foods in the previous Eat Well plate. Now these food groups had very little nutritional value, provided a little protein and a very few minerals and vitamins, therefore have been taken away from our new Eat Well guide, which is replaced with just oil and low-fat spreads. 2 food groups in particular from this Eat Well guide can be very helpful for patients who may be at risk of malnutrition. As we discussed earlier, the aim of this video is to ensure all of our patients have good nutrition. These food groups are dairy and alternative, high fat and sugar foods, but we also need to remember that they are having a good nutrition from all other food groups too. So that would include fruit and veg, your carbohydrates, and protein. So let's think for a second why we need to worry about malnutrition. It's because 3 million people are affected at any one time. It costs the NHS over £19 billion per annum, which is beyond our comprehension, and it can worsen health and prevent recovery. This picture will help us identify patients who may be at risk of malnutrition. The patient doesn't have to present all of these signs and symptoms, and the patient doesn't have to be underweight to be at risk of malnutrition. Any patient can be at risk of malnutrition. So the first clue could be whether the patient is eating or drinking less than usual. And then you can go through the other signs and symptoms, and patient may present some or all of them, and it would depend on your detailed assessment. Once the risk of malnutrition is identified, let's see how these food groups can help us minimize that risk. Full fat varieties of milk, cheese, yogurt, and cream can be used to fortify foods such as soup, porridge, pudding, sauces, and other foods. It will provide protein, calcium, as well as fat, whereas this food group is very useful if someone has a poor appetite, because these foods contain lots of energy in small amounts. So let's look at some of the benefits of food fortification. It provides extra protein, which aids in wound healing. It increases muscle strength, improves mobility, reduces the risk of infections, and provides extra energy, which helps the body to use protein efficiently and can help increase weight. Let's assume this patient is overweight or obese but is actually medically stable. In this case, we would use low-fat dairy products and limit the use of high-fat foods and high-sugar foods. It is very important to document correctly what our patients are eating once we have identified their risk of malnutrition so that we can treat them appropriately. Lastly, check out our LPT hydration video on YouTube, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for listening.